everyone, this is Darcy, and today in this live I'm going to actually be talking with you all about social media engagement. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about exactly what it is and why it's important, and then I also wanted to talk about some tips for how you can make your page more engaging and create more of a community feeling around your audience. So basically, engagement on social media is how the algorithms measure how engaged your audience is. And the more engaged your audience is, the more popular your page appears to the algorithm, and it will in turn be shown to more of your followers. So basically, the more people that engage with your content makes the algorithm show it to even more of your followers. So if you keep an eye on your stats, you might see that some of your posts are only getting seen by a small percentage of your followers, and other posts get seen by more followers. And that's got to do with the engagement that's happening on each of those posts, because the algorithms are going to show your content to people who are interested in your content, basically. So think about it like you have two rooms of people. And one room is filled with familiar faces of people who already know you, friends, family, colleagues. That room's filled with column fans, for the purpose of this analogy. And then the other room, you have a room full of strangers, people who have never met you before. They're sitting in their chairs. Maybe they look bored, maybe they, look busy, whatever it is. That room is your room of strangers. So the goal with social media and engagement is to get everyone from the strangers room over into your familiar faces room. You want to bring them in and get them to be part of your community. And you do that through engagement, essentially. So let me just talk for a minute about what the algorithm considers an engagement. And I'm going to talk primarily about Facebook, but the same sorts of things apply on Instagram and on the other platforms too. So things that count as engagements are like, if your post is a little longer than a couple of lines and they have to click read more to read the rest of your post, clicking read more is an engagement. Liking your post, loving your post, putting comments on your post, sharing it, tagging their friends in it, sending it to somebody by messenger. If you have a video that you're posting, a video that's viewed 3 seconds or more counts as a video view. And so the video views are counted as engagements. So essentially anything that anybody's doing with your content counts as an engagement to the algorithm. And that also comes into play with timing, because you want people to engage with your content as soon after you post it as possible. So, you hear people talk about the best times to post and, keeping an eye on those stats as far as when your followers are online. The reason that's important is because when your post goes live, if somebody likes it or comments on it right away, within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, whatever, that feeds that algorithm and it says, hey, people are liking this, let's show it to more people. So, you don't want to post something at midnight when nobody's going to see it, because then nobody's going to have the opportunity to like it or engage with it until morning, and by that time it's an old post. So, there's so much content that gets posted every day on social media that the timeliness is really important. So you want people to be engaging with it as soon after you post as possible. And that's also, why if you take a look at those insights, some posts show a lot more engagements than others, and the timing of the post is one of the factors in that. So that's just something to be aware of. If you guys have any questions as I'm talking here, feel free to ask me in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep talking here. My goal is to keep these short and sweet for you, so I'm going to just keep going. So let me move on to the tips. So, basically you hear people say it's called social media for a reason, or put the social back in social media. You hear those kinds of things, and that's true, because while your primary goal of having social media for your business is obviously to make sales, you don't want to think about it that way, because the way that you're going to make sales is to get that engagement and build that community by giving the people what they want, essentially, and that's not to be sold to. So you don't want to just every post you post on social media, you don't want it to be a sales pitch. You want to give them value in your posts. You want to share helpful information related to what you do with your audience. You want to share things that are of interest to them that will make them want to keep following you. And you can always include calls to action in your posts. Like you might share a tip or trick about something related to what you do. And at the end, you can always say, give me a call if I can help you, or visit my website if you have any more questions about this. So it's not that you can't sell at all. You just don't want to make every single thing you post be all about selling. That's my first tip. My second tip is the importance of content planning. And, you always hear me talk about that, but the reason that's important is because it does help you mix up that content, to help prevent you from doing the sales posts all the time. So, I mentioned, you want to share helpful tips related to your industry, maybe give them behind the scenes looks at what you do, share customer testimonials, feature a staff member, feature a customer story. Give them a fun fact. If there's a joke that's relevant to your business, tell them a joke. Share a fun picture. You want to always try to keep it relevant to your business, but you do want to mix it up so you have those different types of things for them to look at. And then also, as you're creating your content, you want to do what you can to encourage audience interaction. So whether that's asking them a question, inviting them to share a photo of something related to what you're sharing, anything like that, you want them to comment. You want them to like your post. You want them to share it. The tricky part in that is you want to be careful with your verbiage, because the algorithm, again, doesn't like it when you use those specific words. Like, you don't want to say share my post or comment below, or if you're doing a giveaway, you don't really want to say giveaway. There's a whole list of words that you shouldn't use if you can help it, because it can basically give you negative reach or whatever. So you want to try to find a way to invite them to engage with your post without specifically saying that. I try to do that in the daily share threads in the group. You'll say, I'll say, tell us about your business, and then I like to use the little down emoji, because I'm not saying tell us about your business in the comments, tell us about your business below. I try not to use those words, and I'm sure I don't do it perfectly all the time either, but it is just something to be aware of, that try to encourage that engagement without specifically asking for it, if that makes sense. The next post I wanted to share is that you should be active in your story posts. So that's on Facebook and Instagram primarily is what I'm talking about. Some of the other platforms have stories now too. But the story posts are the ones that show up in the top of the feed on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you post one story every 24 hours, that keeps you active in that story feed. So a lot of people try to post more than that. If you can post more than that, that's great. Some people recommend posting once an hour. I try to post at least once a day, more if I can. And that's important because it keeps you active in the algorithm. So if you're not posting full social media posts every day, then posting those story posts kind of fills in the gaps and just keeps you active in there. And then it also just shows people what you're doing. The stories can be really quick, fun ways just to say hello, show your face for a minute. You can ask them a question. You can do polls, just little fun things. And they don't always have to be directly related to your business, because again, they're kind of intended to be like a behind the scenes look. And it just helps people get to know you and again, starts to build that community to where, if you post regularly, they're going to start coming back to your story feed every day to see what you're doing today. And build that engagement on your page. Another tip is to make sure you're answering all the comments that people are leaving on your posts. So as people comment on your posts, you want to just make sure you're answering every single one if you can. You don't want to go in and just like it or love it or whatever. You want to physically comment on it. Depending on the size of your page, you do want to be careful of this, because if your page has a large volume of comments, you don't want to, if you do too many comments at once, Facebook or Instagram will flag you for potential spam. So, you want to spread those out. If your page does have a lot of comments that come through, first of all, if you do, that's awesome, congratulations. But as you're replying to those, you want to try to spread them out a little bit so you don't get flagged for spam. But yeah, reply to all the comments if you can. As you can. Let's see here. And again, that just goes back to the original point. It just shows Facebook that your audience is interested in what you're posting and that you're interested back. So it creates that social conversation. Somebody's commenting, you're commenting back. You're having that interaction, and that's what Facebook likes to see. And another tip is to engage with other pages that are in your niche. So, whether it's maybe colleagues that do similar things as you that you want to build relationships with, or more likely it's potential customers that you want to talk to. Depending on what you do, that's a little trickier, because if you're B2C, you're not really going to go to a bunch of people's personal pages and try to engage with their personal posts. So if you're business to business, it's a little easier to go engage with other business pages. But regardless, it's a good idea to engage with other people in your niche. If you are B2C, it might be a tip to find some of those local Facebook groups. And if you're a local business to consumer business, you can go into some of those local Facebook groups and start building a reputation in there. So that would be an option for building engagement, if you're selling directly to consumers. And if you're doing that on Facebook, if you're engaging with other business pages and business owners on Facebook, I usually try to do a mix of posting as myself and posting as my page, because our first thought is always to do it as your page, because then you're getting your business name out there, but it's really not as personal. So people want to do business with people, and so you want to mix it up and also do that engagement as yourself. And then you just want to make sure that your personal profile is optimized with your business information, because as you're posting as yourself, then somebody can go click to your personal page, see your business links right there. So then it doesn't really matter that you're not posting as your page. So that's what I would recommend there. One tip for Instagram specifically, they say that you should engage on Instagram for 15 to 30 minutes before you post a social media post and after. So that kind of feeds the algorithm to say, hey, I'm here and I'm engaging with people, and here's a post that I'm sharing on my page, and here I'm engaging with people some more. So it helps you, it makes you look like you're there for it. You're there for the social part, and they like to see that. Does anybody have any questions? That is all that I wanted to share today about engagement. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know it's basically one more thing that we have to do. I get it, but if you're just posting on social media and never going back and actually engaging with your audience, you're missing that whole part of it. So the posting is just one piece, the engagement is another whole piece. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that today. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you're watching the replay later, let me know, how I can help you with any questions that you have or whatever. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good day. Bye.